It is March 30th, 2025, and we are finally getting around to putting seeds in our soil blocks. Today, we're going to go ahead and just kind of show you a quick run through of what we have going on and what our success was yesterday in doing our seed shopping. So Andy was able to find dent corn.
Yes, we got Hickory King, which is supposed to be a good one for making the cornmeal and grits and so forth. So yeah, it'll be exciting. And we'll be putting that in the ground here, probably not for another month or so. I'm not sure. We have to look into that a little bit. But yeah, we're still in the dangers of frost here. Although we could probably gamble and say we're not going to have any more this year, but we'll wait and see how that goes. We also were able to find some other seeds. So we did find San Marzanos, and we found some Mariglobes and some Roma tomatoes. So
one of the things that we liked was look how the packaging is clear. Like you can actually see the seeds and how many are in the package. Anyway, we're excited that we found these, and then we also did find some San Marzanos. So we might go ahead and order some more online, but for now, we're just kind of keeping it simple, not stressing about having the perfect new seed, and we're probably even going to do a little bit of sowing of our seeds in the soil blocks that we were able to de-seed from our harvest last year. So join us while we get ready for the spring. All right. So I think what we're going to do is we were just kind of talking about, and this is, I think, one of the hardest parts for some reason when we're getting ready to make our soil blocks and put the seeds in and all that, is just getting organized all over again. Because we're thinking about last year and what do we want to do this year. And so we've kind of talked about a couple different things, and I think our main focus is just tomatoes and peppers right now. And we're going to do some fun plants maybe here and there. So let's get started.
we're going to start off here with these small cherry red tomatoes. These are packaged for 2021, so these are 4 years old. And, you know, we have had success with these in the past. And what happens is these are really good at just reseeding themselves on our property. So we usually end up with several cherries that come up all by themselves and just do amazing. We're just going to ensure that we have them because everybody likes a cherry tomato. All right, I guess we're going to do one row of these, which will be 12 soil blocks. Is that right? That's 13 soil blocks, actually. Okay. So we've got this little seed dispenser here. You just kind of put the seeds in there. And then we're going to just lean it out here. And we're going to tap. Tap, 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 tap. Here, see them coming down the little chute there now? So they just kind of come down. 1, 2. 1, 2. You know, these are older seeds, so we'll definitely put 2 in here in each one. But they've been kept inside where it's dry. Oh, it's just like that. Here we go. That's 13 of them. That fast. These are the prized San Marzano tomato seeds. These were flown in specially for us. Now, we actually have a pretty neat story about San Marzano. So we were visiting our daughter Jillian up in Pittsburgh. And we were visiting downtown Pittsburgh, like a little old antique kind of store. And we were just looking for antique gardening stuff or whatever. We actually found pickle jars there. This was, how many years ago? A year and a half ago? 2 years ago? 3 years ago now that we were there. You remember?
I think it's 2 because it's when we also went to Massachusetts.
Right. So yeah, it's coming up on 2 years ago. It was like in June or July. I kind of want to get them all out of here to see how many we have in here. How many? No, there's still some in there. But we were able to find pickle jars, and it's quite interesting that we found this place because he was actually growing tomatoes, San Marzano tomatoes. He's Italian. And his varieties came actually from Italy. His family had brought them back years ago, and he was growing them, you know, over and over again. We got them back here kind of late. They traveled with us all the way to Massachusetts and all that. And by the time we got back home, they had kind of gotten beat up a bit. So we didn't have any success with those, unfortunately. But,
this is what you just put in there?
yes. No, I think there's still a couple in here.
Actually, I'm going to save those and just use the tape. So, we're trying to focus this year on really labeling not just our seedlings, but also out in the garden. And so, we'll show you on another video how we kind of document things. Everybody has their own method of doing things.
All right, I think they are all out of there now. So we're going to do a little bit of a count here. See what we come up with.
We're using a waterproof tape that you can buy from a local pharmacy store. And it's really great because it's a nice thin tape. It's easily removable. And like I said, it's waterproof and it's white. So you can see things a lot better.
All right, so it looks like we have 62 seeds in here, roughly. Maybe missed or miscounted by a couple, but so we got 13 rows. So we'll do. And you think we should do 1 or 2 seeds in each one of these for this? Unless we'll do 2.
Are those the newer ones?
Yes.
Yeah, I think just overall we should always put 2 in if we have enough. You know, it's funny. We had a bunch of those Spilanthes seeds last year. And we put in a whole row, and we only were able to yield 1 seedling that grew into a beautiful, as you've seen on videos, Spilanthes plant. So, to be safe, put 2 seeds in to start out. You can always remove that one if it's crowding in order to give more energy to that seedling that's growing.
Just making sure we get them in the hole. So we'll do 2 rows of the San Marzano. Rows done. So we did 2 in each one there. 13 rows, 26, so 52. So we got, you know, I don't know, maybe 8, 10 seeds left here. So I think a couple of them I did get 3 in there. All right, so that's 2 down. And then we got Romas and Marglobes. Okay, so we're going to do a little test here, because that's the way it goes here, real and raw. I like to try out stuff. So, again, we're reaching into our seed bank, and we're pulling out seeds from 2021. These are for Marglobe tomatoes, and we're going to seed that in 1 full row here, 13 cubes, soil cubes. We just did current, right here, Marglobe seeds for 2025. And we did 2. There might, like I said, there might be one with 3 or something. But for the most part, we're going to see how well tomato seeds last. Do they last? Will they be viable after 4 years? And we have the cherries here, and we'll test the marglobes. So we'll see. So everybody will know in the future how important it is to save. Now, it may be that we don't get quite the germination rate. Maybe we don't get any germination rate. I know there are different fruits and vegetables that respond differently to age.
Okay, so what we really wanted to do this year was test the different years of harvest or seed packages. So Andy's going to come back with some of our seeds that we had harvested, or some of our seeds from the harvest of last year. And I'm going to go ahead and add in these 2024 seeds that I bought, which are probably from 2023. And these are our Wonder Bell, California Wonder Bell peppers. Again, from 2024 we harvested. So last year, these did really, really well. So I'm going to go ahead and add a row of these.
All right, so here's a few trays. Here's our cayenne peppers that we harvested. And pepperoncinis. And jalapenos. You see, not very many jalapenos. But that's more than you'd get in a seed packet. So all about experiments. You got to try something new every year in gardening.
Okay, so here is a small amount of seeds, but we're going to try it. This is from 2024 jalapeno harvest. And we don't know, how old those seeds were, but it doesn't matter. This is now a new harvest, so these are going to be called our 2024 jalapeno not pierced. Okay. Yeah, this is really exciting. Just to experiment and see what success you get. I don't know if there's a rule of thumb as far as using older peppers, like what's that cutoff period. So do your own research on that, but we just love to experiment and see, do we have to buy new seeds every year? As well as what is going to be our experience of our own harvest of deseeding, which I would think would be very successful. All right.
The other thing to think about too is that we were growing our peppers in close proximity to each other. Does that affect what is going to be viable? Will these jalapeno seeds and will our cayenne pepper seeds, will they have, formed a new pepper? I think that's the case when you do tomatoes and you do different varieties of tomatoes close together. So we need to do a little research on that. We may have developed a new pepper. It might be I don't know. Be interesting to see. But it'll take some time because we're going to have to grow it. See if it sets fruit. See what it tastes like.
Okay, perfect. All right, so now we got to bag these up. Right here. We have any others that you want to? Oh, you want to do the pepperoncinis, not pierced, and then the cayenne. Okay. Let me write that down. All right. So now we're continuing on with our pepperoncinis from 2024's harvest. Okay, so we got the cayenne, the pepperoncini. Last but not least, we're going to go ahead and do this final row of our pepper tray. Well, we do have one tomato row, but the rest are peppers, and this last row is going to be a 2021 seed package. I can't even tell you who this is from. Oh, here we go. Seedsforthesouth.com. So, This is 2021, and they are sweet banana peppers. So we're going to finish this tray up. We've done 2 of our trays, and I think what we're going to do is the 3rd tray, we're just going to throw in a variety of what we'd like to go ahead and put in there as far as herbs. And then I have a half a tray left of soil blocks that I think I'm going to try and grow some of our own flowers this year. I have never done flowers, so I'm very excited about that, because there's a couple varieties that I really like, and they also make for great co-planting with your vegetables. All right, we are done. I've written out all of our different soil block rows. I put today's date on it because you will forget if you don't write that down. And then I wrote down the year of that seed's harvest. So I think we're going to go ahead and finish up the other tray and pick out some other things and see what we decide.
All right, while Janice is working on seeding up some herbs here, there's a little test that we've been wanting to do. We've been wanting to do some soil testing. And so what I've done is I've gone and gotten a jar, glass jar, so we can see inside. I filled it about, a quarter to a third of the way full of soil from our garden. And this is some compost that we've made over the last few years. It's a compost soil mix. I filled it up to about 2/3 point, 3/4 or so with water. What we're going to do is we're going to shake this, get everything kind of loosened up, distribute it in there nicely, and then we're going to let this sit. And we're going to watch how it separates out, and we will check back with that in a little bit, maybe about, 15-20 minutes or so.
Okay, so I have finished this tray. Well, I'm almost done. I got one last row, and I'm going to put marjoram in there. This is from 2021. So we've got, as far as our spices and some other things, we've got basil, cilantro, sage, fennel, dill, and marjoram. So that'll wrap up these 2 trays, and we can go ahead and I'll show you some of the flowers that I'm going to try and do seedlings for.
So we just kind of made a couple little self-waters or whatever. And you can just kind of come over and just water over the top of them here. It's good and watered in. And then what we do from here on out is we'll bottom water. We'll just spill water into the trays. And the soil blocks will just suck it up. This gives a nice little gentle soaking. There you go. You had a nice little drink.
Okay, so we have got our 3 full soil blocks seeded, ready to go. And now we have a couple of 4 varieties of flowers. So we'll see how they do. Just going to try them this year. And Andy is going to show you his germination cabinet and how we're going to proceed from here.
Okay, so this is the tray here with our herbs. And I believe Janice told you earlier that the herbs should be germinated in a 70-degree cabinet. So the mat here is set to 70 degrees. And we'll go ahead and just shove the soil probe in here. This is a temperature probe that will then cycle the mat on and off. And we'll just shove it there in the middle. Up here in the upper portion, we're going to, this is going to be set at 85 degrees. We have another soil probe here for the separate heating mat. We got 2 different heating mats. You get 4 trays on each heating mat if we so desire. So there, the probe just goes in the soil and it will measure the temperature and cycle the mat on and off as it needs. We also have an additional thermostat up here that is just like a maximum temperature for the whole cabinet. That is operating a couple of fans. We have a fan on each level here. You can see them from the side over here, control panel side. So as you come over here, got several things going on. So right now the top shelf soil pad or soil probe is reading almost 70 degrees. The one down here is reading 68 degrees. And you can see here that it's on output on both of them. So neither one has reached its optimum temperature yet. This one will be at 85 degrees. It'll cycle it off. This one, when it reaches 70, it'll cycle the system off, the pad off. These are the fans. So if we get up to, I think it's about 93 or 95 degrees it's set, these fans will come on and pull in cooler air from the garage into the cabinet so we don't overheat things in here. And then we have this controller here. This is that thermostat that's up in the top of the cabinet in the back. And that's what's going to control the fans through this temperature dealy here. So we have it set up. We could add more heating pads in here if we wanted. There's certain things that need to be on heating pads, certain things that don't need to be on heating pads. You know, currently in the garage we're at about 68 degrees. So technically, this lower one here probably doesn't even need to be on a heating pad because we're within 2 degrees of the temperature. But we've got it, so we might as well use it. And so this will just cycle on and off as it needs to maintain the correct temperatures. It should improve our germination rates along with the time for them to take to germinate. So yeah, like I said, there are certain things that don't need to be on a heating pad. We can have things directly on the heating pad. We could put 2 more trays back here, widthwise, that wouldn't need to be on a heating pad, that might need to be up in a warmer temperature. Same thing on this shelf, and then we could put 5 more or 6 more. So 6 on each level. We can get 6 trays on each level. So we can do quite a bit. Then we got storage underneath there for different soils and so forth that we don't really have in there right now, but we have in the past. And then we do have this, since the top one is usually the warmest. It's got just an extra little layer of insulation there that'll kind of keep that heat in. Oh, the lights are also cycling on and off. The lights will cycle on and off, basically reflecting or resembling daylight. But then we've got this cover that kind of comes down. It's just an old painting tarp. Helps kind of keep the heat in, keeps the drafts out when it's cooler and we open the garage doors so we don't get a rush of cold air in here. And then we've got extra trays and stuff all stacked up here that we can use for different seating projects. So that's our cabinet. We built it, I don't know, a couple years ago, I think. This is our 2nd year in use. And it definitely improved our rates last year. And I believe that our rates this year will be even better because last year was a learning year for this whole thing. So this isn't so attractive, but it's in the garage. It doesn't matter. And it works, and that's what counts.
Okay, last but not least, we have these covers for our trays that we got from Bootstrap Farmer. These trays are also from Bootstrap Farmer, as you may have recalled from our previous videos. And we're really pleased with their setup. This is very sturdy. It's a nice, strong plastic, and it's got the ventilated top to the container. So we can adjust that if there's too much moisture or not enough. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the probe and I'm going to stick it through the hole, put it back into the soil where Andy had it, and get that top on there. And like I said, it just fits nicely on there. It doesn't snap. It just lays right on top. And if you put pressure on it, it's not going to, you know, cave in or anything like that. So I would highly recommend you get some ventilated tops for your trays. So for now, we only purchased 2. I think they were $25 for a set of 2. But I will put a link to Bootstrap Farmer and getting the 2-pack from them directly. They do sell these on Amazon, but I prefer this one directly from the company because it's just it's a better quality than what I saw on Amazon. So do your own research on that. But I'm going to go ahead and get this one capped up. I'll probably need to order more because I've got more trays. But for now, this is going to work for what I need it to do. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cover these up. We want to water them daily. And Andy showed you how we water them, how he's got this little spout here. And we're just going to simply pour the water in the tray like that. Keep an eye on them, make sure that they are kept moist. And what's also nice about these toppers is this is also going to bring in the condensation from the heat of the mat coming into the soil, and then it'll bring that almost like a self-watering. Doesn't mean you shouldn't water your seedlings and check on them, but that's just the benefit of having this lid. So that'll be it, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.